So today we are reviewing
Crawl. Kenny did not see this film today. He had other things going on, so just Megan and I and our parents saw it. So don't worry, it'll be in the next video. The channel's not changing, it's just for this movie review. So Crawl is the latest horror action film of 2019. This movie really did not have much like momentum in my opinion going, just because it was just kind of just like an interesting thing. There was like a poster, like a cardboard cutout at like the movie theater. All I've seen for this movie is just like TV spots. All the marketing for me personally, I was not too impressed by. I thought the CGI looked a little bit iffy. I really thought this would be like kind of a Sharknado like movie. Then when the reviews started coming out, I heard some really good things about it, so that made me really want to check it out. Initial thoughts, I think I actually really enjoyed this movie. I kind of had, I guess, a little bit high expectations going in just because I was hearing good stuff about it, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting to be like blown away by this movie. What were your initial thoughts of the film?
I thought it was pretty good at the start. Definitely, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, but it kind of got predictable throughout the film. But it was still action-packed with a lot of suspense, so that's good.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely this film does what it's marketing. It's marketing like a flood with like alligators, and that's what you get for the majority of this film. I mean, once it really starts in the flood, like I mean, the hurricane's starting from the beginning of the film, and I believe the hurricane, all those effects look real. The storm itself looked really real. It never looked fake to me. I thought there was actually a hurricane going on. I was on the edge of my seat basically the entire film. Not the beginning, because the beginning wasn't really. It was setting up something that pays off later on a little bit. It was very stressful. I think we both agree with that.
Yeah.
There really wasn't much of a cast in this film. There's the main character girl. Her actress name is Kaya Scodelario.
Her name is Haley in the film.
Haley in the film. And then her father, Barry Pepper. Yes. And then their dog. And then there was also a couple like very minor side. No, there's really just one. There's a couple like minor side characters. There's her sister,
Beth,
who was on like FaceTime a couple of times, and then the security guard cop type guy that told her to turn around. They're very minor characters. Like you barely see in the film. It's mainly just this girl, her father, and their dog. It's a really self-contained film. Like it's all within this house for the most part. The entire film. I guess let's just get into our positives. For me, it was, like I said, it was very action-packed. There was really no downtime. Like, the setting was probably my favorite part about this film. The element of water and not knowing where the alligators are definitely makes you can't relax. You don't know where they're at. Just, like, really cool setting with the hurricane, the water, the alligators. Just that whole element of this film, which is probably 95% of the film, I would say, really does a really good job of it, and that's probably why it's a very enjoyable film. And I guess I would have to say the alligators were actually much better than I thought they'd be. They're definitely, I'm not going to say it's great CGI, but it's not bad CGI, if it makes sense. Like, Unjiri was like kind of like in the middle. Like, there was some shots that looked really realistic, and then some that I was like, that could have been better, but you're able to forgive it a little bit because of the water, because the water's real. That's not fake. I mean, obviously, not all the water's real, but it looked real to me.
It definitely looked more fake in the trailer than
the trailers really made it look like it was like I was afraid this would be really bad CGI and just take me completely out of it. But I was not taken out of it. The gore in this film really is what surprised me a little bit, because that looked really real, and some of the gore I had to look off the screen a couple of times because it was really just brutal. Very brutal. Like I would say the gore, the setting, and honestly the storyline was, I kind of got into that a little bit. I thought that was a little bit weaker than some people were saying. So yeah, that was probably my biggest positives of the film. What were your positives?
There were good jump scares. The first jump scare with the tree definitely jumped out of my seat, and pretty much every other jump scare I was jumping and flinching, so I think they really took that into a good direction. But the acting was pretty good too, the emotional scenes. I mean, I liked how they didn't just focus on trying to get out of the basement the whole time. They had a little bit of time to talk, because there was a little bit of tension between the dad and the daughter, so it's good to see them, like, their relationship growing throughout the film, and I like relationship growth, so that was a good thing. And the dog, Sugar, was my favorite character, but...
Yeah, Sugar, this dog here, great character of the film. We definitely cared about her throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in the spoilers. I guess as far as negatives, for me, like I said, I thought the CGI for the alligators was better than I was expecting, but at the same time, there was a couple shots here or there that I was like, that's kind of like very B-level, C-level CGI. Like I said, it was very like minor. Like it was not anything that stood out. And when it was bad, and when I thought it was like not bad, but like not good, it was quick, and like I was able to look at other stuff and believe the other stuff.
Yeah.
Because the hurricane looked so real. I would say the acting was okay. I'm not one to like ridicule acting or like get on the actors as much in these films, because I mean, I'm not an actor, so I couldn't do any better. But I would say a couple of the emotional scenes I thought were a little forced. I would say, like, not all of them, just like there was one where like I bought the storyline, like the whole. We can't talk about the spoilers. I was talking about the spoilers, but there was a whole storyline that was going on between the father and the daughter that I believed, but the mother, I guess that's a spoiler. There was just a couple of things with the acting that I just didn't necessarily buy into, like the crying. And then also another major thing was, without spoiling anything, there's a couple times where they get attacked by these alligators and some serious things happen and they're just able to walk away or move. That was a little bit, you have to kind of forget about it. It's a crazy storyline anyway. That's kind of a negative for me, just because I'm like, come on, if you break your leg, break your arm, just as examples, I don't think you'd be able to walk or really move around that well. Definitely not swim very well.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't realistic in some parts, but
it was, I mean,
it is a movie, so...
No, I know. Yeah, so that, some of the CGI, some of the acting. One more positive before I'll let you do your negatives. The pacing was great. It was a really quick film. There really isn't any boring parts for me personally. I mean, everything that was on screen was there for a reason, and there's very, very minor or small filler scenes where you get what you came for, and then they get you out of there. It just ends. Yeah. So, you want to say your negatives, and we can get our scores?
One of my negatives is probably just how predictable it got. Which, I mean, I know they're in the house and there's not much they can do, but, I mean, you can pretty much see it coming, and I think there are effects where they are more of a jump scare is better and you don't expect it, but most of the scenes I could expect, which I don't know if they did that on purpose or not. Also, I realize they're in the house and they're stuck, but it'd be nice for them to, like, kind of venture outside of the house, because it wasn't boring. The movie wasn't boring, but it was kind of boring to see the same setting.
The stuff outside I thought was very interesting. Like, we'll talk about this in the spoilers, but there's a couple scenes outside the house near a gas station, and those scenes looked very, like, I don't know why it looked more, like, I don't know if it was, like, scary or more realistic, but something about the one scene, I'll talk in the spoilers, was I really wanted to see more of that. Obviously, they were in the house more. I don't know. Well, we can get into our scores. It's kind of, I mean, it's not like there's any major spoilers, but that way we can talk more freely. So, for me personally, my score rating of 5 is average. Anything above 5 is above average. Anything below 5 is below average. For me personally, I would probably have to give Crawl. I've been kind of going back and forth on this. Like I said, there's nothing that really was like, I wanted to walk out of the theater. Like, it was like, I enjoyed the film. But I feel like if I gave this an 8, it would take away from my 8s and 9s. Like, that needs to be saved for, like, the really good ones. And this is a good thriller. I mean, you're stressed out. But yeah, when you compare it to other things, it's just hard to compare the CGI. I'll just give this film a really solid 7 out of 10. Because it's above average for me. You get what you came for. It's really stressful. I mean, I was leaning back. I was like, my hands were above my head a couple times for the dog.
It was definitely you can't relax during this movie.
The gore. Was this rated R? It was rated R, which honestly, that might bump it up. Because it was R and they gave us some gore, I'm going to change my score to 7.5 out of 10. Because I think the gore came through with that. Because in Annabelle Comes Home, it was rated R, but there was really no gore. So this film, I give it credit for the gore and some language. But yeah, I think I'm gonna change my score to a 7.5 because I was going back between a 7 and an 8. I think that fits my score. What would you give, Crawl?
I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10 because it was a good movie. But
are you saying 5's average? Or you?
Yeah, basically your same scale, but it's definitely not a movie I would go back and see.
No, I wouldn't go back and give it a second.
And I enjoyed it, but definitely there's better movies out there.
I mean, I agree. I would definitely think that say that there's no political angles in this film, which is kind of refreshing considering most movies now have to give some sort of message, and this movie is just a simple, fun action film, which you don't see as many around anymore. So I definitely give this a go out and see it if you're interested in the trailers. Even if you're not, I wasn't really interested in the trailers, and I still went and saw it and enjoyed it.
It's a quick
one, I would say it's just super quick, hour 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure. Or hour 27 minutes, so just about hour 30 minutes. Definitely go check out this film. We both enjoyed it. I think our parents enjoyed it too. One thing I kind of forgot to mention was like the claustrophobic element of the film really got me a couple of times. When she's swimming through like this pipe, first I don't know how she was holding her breath that long.
She's a swimmer too.
Well, that's true. Well, that's not a spoiler. But still, there was just the whole like being stuck in the basement, like you see in the trailers, just the kind of closed spaces with huge alligators. That stuff they pulled off really well, and yeah, I would definitely say that this film was a very enjoyable film. Definitely recommend go seeing it and go support films like these. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Megan gave it a 6 out of 10, and our scales are the same. 5 out of 10 is average, so
take that or leave it.
Take it or leave it. So yeah. So thanks. This was our non-spoiler review of Crawl, and actually we're gonna combine it. I'm gonna combine this today. Usually we do 2 separate videos, but I'm gonna go back to this format just for this one because it's kind of our spoiler sections will be so quick. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and if you want to stick around, we'll be doing spoilers and the rest of this. So see you next part of the video. Bye guys. So for the spoilers, the main girl, Haley, and her father and the dog all survive,
Yep.
which was
Very nice.
I was expecting the father to die.
I was expecting the dog to die.
Well,
Animals in movies like don't last. Like they don't have very good histories.
yeah,
movies,
I would agree that sometimes they do kill us off. The reason why I started to believe the dog would survive is because they waited so long. Like they're not going to wait this long then kill it off. That'd be horrible.
I don't know. They've done that in movies, but
Well, they have, but the reason I thought they were going to kill the father is because they kept saying like he doesn't deserve a second chance. Like he made all these mistakes in life, and like he wants to like make his daughter happy, and like he thought she was mad at him. I thought he was gonna be like, you know what, go save the dog and like dive into like a pile of alligators and like sacrifice himself, which that doesn't happen. But
I mean they did. He snapped his leg. He got bit on the shoulder.
Yeah, you want to talk about the injuries with him?
Broke his arm off.
His arm got ripped off. His leg was broken before you saw him. That happened, I guess. In the first attack before Haley got to his house.
There was one already in the basement because there's a drain.
Yeah.
That I guess one of the alligators climbed in, and their basement is just horrible. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know why they even have that basement.
So basically, it starts out just kind of a little backstory. I'm not going to get too much into this. The girl's a swimmer for Florida University, which that sets up obviously why she can swim so well, and that's a huge story element. And
her dad was her coach for
her dad was the coach who like really trained her to be who she is. She immediately, there's a hurricane going on the second she gets done with the meet. She drives to like her apartment where she thought her father was out to check in on him. He's not there. He was back at their old home, which is kind of a story element this is the story element that I kind of said I couldn't get behind. I got behind the father-daughter relationship, but the whole family element about the mom leaving and that stuff, that's not I didn't buy it. I just didn't really care as much about that than more about just like those two, like what their relationship was. I wish they had focused more on that and just forgotten about everyone else.
I mean, they didn't really focus on it that much. They just kind of gave a brief, oh, they divorced, and the sister, and like everyone's kind of split up, going their own directions.
The scene that I questioned the acting just for a second was when they were both kind of together near like a pipes area, and they were like kind of both crying for a second. And it wasn't bad acting. It just wasn't like the top tier that you're expecting from certain films. Mm-hmm. So the acting was fine. It was just there's things I didn't get emotionally into. Like she said, it's a very minor part. It's a quick movie, and this is very short little parts. So it's nothing that I was able to overlook it and just enjoy the film for what it was. There's a body count in this film. I think I kept track. There was 5 deaths in this movie. There was the 2 security guards, and then a group of 3 like people that were stealing from a gas station during the hurricane, which that's probably a true thing. Because, I mean, there's hectic stuff going on. No one can keep track of who's like stealing stuff. They were trying to put an ATM machine into like a little canoe. And
one other guy was inside just putting in all sorts of stuff.
A guy was like really joking around in the gas station, just stealing a bunch of weird stuff, eating a hot dog, like trying glasses on.
Like, just goofing around.
But the best scene, in my opinion, the most realistic scene for some reason, is the scene with there's a girl in the canoe and 2 guys, the people that were stealing from the gas station. And when the guy sees the girl, Haley, in the house waving the flashlight from the basement, and you see in the background the alligator attacking the girl in the canoe, that scene where she's getting eaten looks so real to me for some reason. It was just the top of the alligator's head, and it's just seeing it with like no sound made it like even scarier.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of Jaws a little bit, and how like the boat was like tilted and she was going towards the alligator.
Well, it's also realistic because of all the wind and the rain and thunder. You're not gonna be able to hear when someone else is dying, so that was definitely a realistic scene.
Yeah, and that whole little sequence is awesome. Like, getting pulled under, like pushed up against the glass with like blood. The alligator going through the aisle, eating him in the store. Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. And
then that was a great cinematography shot there. And then also the 2 security guards. The one that kind of knew the main character a little bit because he dated his sister or something. He kind of got eaten pretty well in the basement when he was trying to. He didn't really come close to saving him. Though. He did fight for a little bit, but his friend, the other security guard outside, that was the biggest. Well, he was looking at like an alligator stuck in like a swing set, but then he got thrown. Just shot in the trailer if I can find it, and his head gets decapitated in a really gruesome, awesome scene. It's not awesome to see a person die, but
10 gators
that was a great shot. So those were the 5 human deaths. I think a couple alligators actually died. The Haley shot one, and then the dad killed one with a shovel. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure just 2 alligators died, 5 humans died, and then other than that. The dog survives, which made us happy.
Yeah, very stressful.
There's a scene where the dog was going down the hallway, and I'm like, oh god, he's gonna get freaking like eaten by like that shot in Madagascar, the first Madagascar. This shot.
We'll put it in now.
I was exciting that with the dog. It didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, it just at the end so they get from the basement to outside. They get that canoe, and then a huge wave or the flood comes in, pushes them back into the house. Then there's that scene with the shower and the middle floor. The father's arm gets ripped off. They get to the roof. The girl Haley gets isolated in her own room or some room, and she has to swim out, get to the rooftop, and then the father pulls her up.
Yeah.
And then the
dad pulls her up, and they're on the roof.
And then there's a helicopter, and
they wave the flare, and
it comes flying in, and that's it.
I like the ending too.
Yeah.
She was kind of like.
It was kind of nice.
Like a victory.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see that, and also the fact that it didn't stretch it out. It didn't show like another swim meet with them like being all happy. It just ended because I'd like to see a happy ending, but that is a happy ending. You don't need to. You see the dog sitting there with rain like going in his face.
Like you don't know what happened, but you kind of guess. But I don't know. I thought it ended pretty well.
That was all the spoilers, I'm pretty sure. Definitely an enjoyable film. Go check it out and support films like these. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of this film in the comments. I already said it twice. Let us know down in the comments what you thought about this film, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.